Hi guys, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and I am doing another Top 5 Wednesday. These were created by Lainey at Ginger Reads Lainey, and I will post the link to both her page and the Goodreads group down below. If you guys want to get involved, then feel free. And this week's topic is our top 5 disappointing eye candies. So these aren't favorites, these are like the books I don't like the most. Anyway, these are books that looked beautiful but were awful. So the things that you thought were going to be amazing based on the cover, and then you read them and you're like, not so much. I don't tend to pick up books based on the cover alone. Like, I am much more like the cover. So the cover of the book will like catch my eye, and then I'll flip it over to read the description on the back, and then I base my my expectations for that book are off the back. So this is kind of an interesting topic for me to do. And also, I don't own like any of these books because they weren't worth buying. Like, got them out of the library or got the ebook for them, and just it's not worth it. So we get to see my lovely tablet, and my white balance is about to get completely shot. Sorry. At number 5, I have Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. This is a YA romance book. It's about Anna who gets sent to go to school in France, and it's about her adventure, kind of her first year on her own in a country she's never been to before, and she falls in love with Etienne St. Clair, who is really gorgeous and perfect. And the book isn't really that bad. I gave it 3 stars. I liked getting to see Paris and Anna, like getting to know who she is. That's really cool. The part that really annoys me about this book is just it's one of those books where all the problems could have been solved if they just talked to each other. Like, Etienne and Anna are in love with each other almost first sight, and if they had just said something, they could have hooked up like a month into the semester, not almost before they graduate. Like, guys, seriously, just talk to each other. It's not that hard. I have Fire, Burn, and Cauldron Bubble by H.P. Mallory. This is a paranormal romance. It's another one of those ones where the character and the plots are really interesting, but the execution's kind of off. So it's romance, and that's kind of a big part of this, is this attraction between her and this warlock. And that part I'm kind of okay with them hooking up, but like the way it was done, there's a lot of like dreaming and imagining what it's going to be like, and then when they do get together, it's so weird. I don't know. I just did not like that part, that hookup bit, and it kind of killed like the whole book for me. I'm like, this was a really interesting uh like, I was really interested in her journey and what was going on in the plot, but then not so much because of that. And it looks really cool. I love these cartoony type covers, especially when we're talking about like magic and things. I think it works really well. At number 3, I have Eragon by Christopher Paolini, and this one was more ruined by the fact that I watched the movie first. So I love dragons and fantasy, and I saw the movie and was like, this is awesome. But this book and the movie aren't really alike, and I kept expecting it to be like the movie and was really disappointed when it wasn't. So it's a pretty good book. I just didn't fall in love with it because it was, similar to the movie. The movie's based off this book, but it wasn't, and it just feels weird and off. And I just couldn't get past this first book. At number 2, I have Shadowscale by Rachel Hartman. This is the sequel to Seraphina, and I was waiting so long for this freaking sequel to happen. Here is the first book, Seraphina. Go read Seraphina. Seraphina is amazing, and I love it, and it's perfect and wonderful, and everything that I was hoping Shadowscale would be. I mean, I love the dragons and like the buildings, and these covers are amazing. This one's even got like gold going on it. And this cover also is amazing. But when I went and read the sequel, there's just so much not happening plot wise for the first part of the book. And then we get to the ending and it just happens so fast, and there's no like the conclusion comes out of nowhere, and it's like one major just magic ending, and I'm like so disappointed by this sequel, and it is not the sequel I wanted for Seraphina. And at number 1, my most disappointing eye candy is New Moon by Stephanie Meyer. This whole series could probably be disappointing eye candy. These covers look so amazing, and I love vampires and romance, and I really do love Edward. and there are just so many interesting, fascinating characters going on in these books. But Bella is the least interesting and most pathetic character, and she is our narrator, which I think is the fault of these series. Like, if Edward were narrating, it would be a lot more interesting. Bella does a lot of whining and moaning and woe is me, and the second book is like the epitome of that. In this book, Edward leaves. Edward gets the smart idea and is like, oh shit, our relationship is not gonna work and not really healthy, and goes and leaves Bella. And when he leaves, Bella completely falls apart. And she does really, really crazy things. Basically, is like on the brink of suicide every other chapter, and it's like so frustrating to read this book. It's not even like what's happening, like part of it is what is happening in this book, which is so dumb. Like, Bella, get your life together. Just because Edward left you doesn't mean you don't have friends still and, like, don't have a future. You're a teenager. Come on. And the second part of it is just so much moaning. So I really, really don't like New Moon. I like the rest of the series a lot more. Like Twilight, actually. But this book kills it. Like, seriously, I almost didn't finish the rest of the series after I read this book. So, yeah. There are my top 5 most disappointing eye candies. Let me know in the comments below what are the books that you thought looked amazing and were going to be fantastic and then just weren't. Yeah. Peace out. I love you guys and keep reading. Like, seriously, these are. Just because these books suck doesn't mean there aren't a bajillion more books behind me that are freaking amazing and worth reading. So, I don't like these bummer topics. Like, reading is awesome. Yeah, keep reading, guys. That's what I meant to say. Bye.